Hi, hello everyone, good morning. Hope everyone are doing well, safe at your houses. Welcome back to accounts class. So we have learned few terminologies in the last session. I'll just give a quick recall of the last session. We have learned basic terminologies like entity, transactions, assets, liabilities, capital, expenditure, expenses, revenue, sales and profit. So 10 words I have explained in the last session. Okay, now coming to the next basic terminologies, another 10 I am going to explain you today. Okay, so the next one is gain. So what do you mean by this gain? So gain is nothing but it's a form of profit where you will be receiving incidentally in the business. Okay, incidentally in the business is nothing but you don't have much risk in this. The risk levels is very low when you compare to running a business. Suppose for example I can give the gain. You have purchased a land, long back you have purchased like 10 years over. Now when your land value is increased, that is an appreciation, that is your value of the land is increased. You have purchased for rupees 2 lakhs. Now the price of that same land is gone to 5 lakhs. You didn't do any hard work to increase the value of your land, is it right? But if you are selling, you are getting 5 lakhs, that is 3 lakhs of gain you are getting. Understood? So incidental to any property which belongs to the business or any activity or any transaction in the business which leads to get the profits, getting the instant profits. It's not instant also. It's not easy or it's not so quick profits. It may take some time, but the risk levels will be very less. So for this we call it as gain. The profits, it is also a form of profit only. Slight difference between the profit and the gain. For earning the profits, you have to do so much of hard working, so many costly involvement will be there, so much of expenditure, expenses, all this you have to go throughout the year. Then the cost, everything has to be taken into consideration, and then the risk level also will be high. Is it right? To get a profit. Whereas gain, as on a small example, one more example I can take, your scholarship. Most of the girls will get the scholarships, is it right, from the college for this further studies. So you didn't have put more efforts, more risk in, nothing is there. As usual you have studied for your exam, you have studied well, based on your performance you are getting your scholarship or based on your caste. So it depends. So you are gaining something out of that. So scholarship also can consider as example for gain. The same way if you come to the business, so if you are selling any asset, any fixed asset. What is fixed asset? The asset which is not, which has the long term duration where you spend more money and which is used, the benefit is used for a long term. For example, furniture, land and building, machinery, all this comes under the fixed assets. Do you remember? So when you sell any fixed asset, you will get some return, some amount you will be receiving. As I told you, I have taken the land example. Now you have purchased for 1 lakh and now the current price is 3 lakhs or 5 lakhs. Taking the current price is 5 lakhs. So you are gaining some amount in that. Is it right? So that is what gains. One more example you can take, winning the case in the court. Okay, you have some legal litigations on your property, on your business property, you have put a case. So the case keeps going for a few years, running for a few years. Later, after a few years, you may get the result that the property belongs to the business. So it's a gain for you. Okay, so slight difference between the gain and the profit. Okay, next is loss. Obviously everyone knows what you mean by loss. Excess of expenses happening regularly in the business which leads to the losses. Where you are spending more and more money, your money is lost but you are not receiving any benefit out of that. You are not receiving any benefit even after spending more expenses you have done. I have told you in the last class. Expenses means what? You are spending some amount regularly. In return, you will be having certain benefits also for a shorter duration. Is it right? For that purpose, you will do the expenses and expenditure also. For a long duration, you will be having the benefit. But even after having that expenses, expenditure, everything you have done, the money you are spending on those things, but you are not receiving any benefit, which leads to the loss. The money or money's worth, which is not giving any benefit, you are still paying, your expenses are increasing, but you are not receiving any benefit out of that. So that leads to loss. Okay. Next is discount. Everyone knows discount. Is it right? So when you go for any shopping, when you buy something, immediately we start bargaining with the shopkeeper. Is it right? Every girl you will be doing. When you see any dress or any cosmetics, anything you want to purchase, you will start bargaining. You will try to get certain discounts. Is it right? In the same way, in the business we have discount transactions also. So, as you know, when the cash is paid immediately, that is directly the manufacturer or the wholesaler can directly give some discounts. So, that is at the time of selling, some discount sales will be offered. So, that is normal discounts that what the business people also will be getting in certain stages. And they have trade discounts. They also have trade discounts. What is this trade discounts? It is also similar to the discounts only. This trade discounts is applicable at the time of credit transactions. At the time of credit transactions. Do you remember what is credit transactions? There is cash transaction and credit transaction. So in cash what happens? Immediately you will pay or immediately you will receive the cash. That is what cash transactions. Credit transaction, you are not going to pay immediately. You will take certain time and you will pay it in the later stages. That is what the credit transaction. So this trade discount will take place on the credit transaction. Suppose now I have sold some 10,000 worth of goods to Mr. B. Assuming I have sold 10,000 worth of goods to Mr. B. And Mr. B didn't pay me the goods 10,000 immediately. He told he will pay in 1 month. By 1 month, that is in 30 days, he is going to repay me 10,000 amount. Okay. So he has taken the time of 30 days. But after 1 week or after 10 days, Mr. B comes to me and he paid 10,000 immediately to me. So here he took the time of 30 days, but he paid within 10 days the entire amount to me. So, it is saving my time as well as it will be benefited for me for the payment what he has made. Very early stage only he has made the payment. So, it will be benefited for me also to meet my expenditures. Whatever the expenses I have to meet that expenses, I need some money. So, it is very helpful for me. So, I can say that okay, and for this benefit what I am receiving, the time saving as well as the my own benefits, so I can give him trade discount. Suppose instead of 10,000 I can say I can tell you can pay 9,000, 1,000 I will give it as a discount. So he can pay 9,000 for the thing. So this is trade discount is nothing but at the time of the credit transactions takes place, if the person who has to pay, if he is within the time or before the time he is taken, if he is paying, it can impress the person who has given the discount. So he can give certain discount for him. So he can give the discount and he can say that you no need to pay the full amount. We can give certain amount as a discount and leave. Are you able to follow? Are you able to follow, girls? Trade discount is a certain portion of amount which is paid by the buyer at the time of the payment. So when he is buying from me, when Mr. B bought goods from me, it was 10,000 worth. And he told in 30 days time he will be paid. But he paid within 10 days. So it saved my time and it is also helpful. The money which is given even for me it will be helpful to meet my business requirement. So I have impressed with this, whatever he has done, he has paid, it is benefited for me, so I can give some discount at now. Now at this time what he is paying me 10,000, I can give 500 rupees or 1000 rupees as discount for him. So that is what trade discount. Okay. Coming to the next, purchase. So everyone, when you are going for the shopping, obviously when you buy even a small product or any goods, you will ask for a receipt or a bill. What is that? Why you need the bill? Why you need a bill or a receipt for purchasing? It's a proof that you have bought certain goods from that particular shop. Is it right? Purchase are nothing but it's a documentary evidence or the proof that the transactions took place in the business. It can be involved any bills, receipts, or all this comes under the purchase. So these are the documentary evidence. It is a proof for the transactions took place in the business. Okay. And next is goods. That is nothing but the products or services. It depends on the nature of business. Suppose everyone knows what are goods. Suppose if you take any grocery stores, all the basic needs will be their goods and services. Is it right? If you take any furniture shop, so the furniture will be the goods or the products for those to sell the furniture. If you take any electronic shops, electronic companies, electronic items like washing machine, fridge, TV, computers, all this becomes their products or goods. So depending on the nature of the business, the type of the goods also will change. The product which they are selling in the market or which they are producing, that becomes the goods for the business. Okay. Next, coming to drawings. Drawings is very important for you. Please note it down. What are these drawings? Drawings is the amount taken from the owner from the business, from his business for his personal use. Please make a note. The drawing is the amount which is taken from the owner, the amount of the business taken from the owner for his personal use. So personal use is different, office use is different. Okay. Suppose now a business person, the owner is taking 10,000 rupees from the business, from his business, whatever he is running the business, from the business account, he is taking 10,000 for his personal use. Suppose he is using the 10,000 to buy a TV for his house. So buying a TV for himself, it is a personal use. It is not for the purpose of business. Is it right? So that amount becomes drawings. Later, the owner has to repay these drawings to the business. Even though he has invested his money, obviously the business has to give back his investment and it has to return some profits. Is it right? As an artificial person. So if now, since I am the owner, if I am using the business money for my own personal thing, how the business activities will be taken place, it cannot run smoothly. And each and every transaction has to be clear cut. Is it right? So when I take some amount, some portion of amount from my business to my personal use, to the personal use, buying a TV, buying a car, or buying some toys, or paying the fees of my daughter or my son, all this becomes the personal expenses of mine. So personal expenses of the owner is paid by the amount of the business, the amount taken from the business and use it for the personal use. That we call it as drawings. Once again I repeat, if the owner is taking the money from the business and use it for his personal requirements. If he is using for his personal requirements, then that amount we call it as drawings. That has to be paid back in later stages. The owner, person who has taken, the owner has to pay back to the business later stages. Okay. So that is what drawings. Next comes purchases. Everybody knows what is the meaning of purchase. When you buy any goods or any services, that becomes a purchase. So here also we have cash purchase and credit purchase. When you purchase something and immediately if you are paying, it becomes a cash purchase. And if you are taking time to pay the money, then it becomes credit purchase. Okay? So credit purchase, or it can be cash purchase. Next is stock. Stock, the other name for stock is inventories also, we can call it as stock. So what do you mean by this stock? A general example, when you go for any super bazaars or big bazaars or any grocery supermarkets, you see lot of stuff will be kept in, the basic groceries will be kept. Once it is getting over, immediately they will get the new stock and keep it there. Is it right? In a business, it can be raw materials also will be taken as one stock, raw material stock. The other one semi-finished goods, finished goods. All these goods all together we call it as stock. So here whatever the goods or the services which is kept for the selling or for the process, it is under the process, all this comes under the stock or inventory. Here in stock again we have closing stock or opening stock. It is nothing but at the initial of the year, financial year starting, what is the stock we have, that becomes the opening stock. At the end of the financial year, whatever the stock worth is there, that becomes the closing stock. The value of this stock at the initial financial days. Financial year starts, the financial year starting, whatever the stock is remaining, the worth, the value of the stock will be the opening stock. At the end of the year, that is when you are closing down your accounts. So every year we are going to close the accounts, okay. So that ending stage, whatever the worth of or the value of the stock is there, that becomes the closing stock, okay. And next is debtors. So debtors are those where the business is given time to pay. Suppose if you like a furniture shop, I have sold some furniture to the retailer and the wholesaler. So I have a furniture shop. This is a wholesale business, okay, just an example. Wholesale business. I have sold some furniture to the retail person. He's having a retail shop. He's purchased from me, okay. So I have purchased, he has taken, but he didn't pay me the amount. So it is a credit transaction. So he is saying after few days he is going to pay the furniture's amount. Once he has sold some furnitures, then he will pay me. So he becomes debtor for me. He is a debtor for me. The debtor is nothing but the business has to receive some amount from that person. The business is given the benefit, and that benefit they have to repay in the form of cash, but they have taken a certain time and they will be paying in the future. So he will be a debtor to me, to the business. I'll give one more example after explaining this creditors, okay. So creditor, the business is taken certain benefits from the outsider where it is not paid any amount, where the amount is not paid. So the business has to pay to the outside person. It will be paying in the future dates. So for the business, that person becomes the creditor. So always here, debtor and creditor, always it takes simultaneously. In one transaction, one will be the debtor, the other one will be the creditor. Okay. So for this, I will explain one example I will take. Suppose there is a supermarket called Fresh Mart. Okay. So this is a Fresh Mart. It's a supermarket. This person is taking fruits and vegetables from farmers. Take it as farmers group. Okay. And he is selling to retailers here. So Fresh Mart is a wholesale person or he is a big supermarket. Okay. So he is getting the fruits and vegetables from the other person. The other person is nothing but here person refers to other business entity. Remember, entity means the other person. That is a business, other business. So this Freshmart person, it is in the books of Freshmart. From the point of Freshmart we have to think. Now I am thinking myself as a Freshmart. Okay, I am the business, the name called Freshmart. Okay, so this business people, they are buying fruits and vegetables from farmers group. They are buying from the farmers group. They are buying the fruits and vegetables and selling in their Freshmart. Okay, and this from the Freshmart, the retailers are buying the general groceries which is required. These retailers are shopping from the Freshmart. They are getting certain groceries that they are required for their to sell in their shops. Okay, this is the example. Now how this creditor and debtor will be recorded, I will tell you. So Freshmart, I am writing, maintaining the accounts in the books of Freshmart. So when I purchase the fruits and vegetables from the farmers group, I am assuming 10,000 worth of vegetables and fruits I have purchased from farmers group. But I am not paying any amount immediately. I thought I will be paying later. Okay. For Freshmart, we are saying that we will be paying later to the farmers group. So this is a credit transaction. Now from my Freshmart, this retail shops, they are taking certain groceries from me worth of 20,000. Just assuming they are taking the goods worth of 20,000 from my Freshmart, and these people are not paying to me 20,000 immediately. They are not paying to Freshmart immediately this 20,000. Again here it is a credit transaction. Both are credit transaction. Here the Freshmart has to pay for the farmers group. But here the retailers has to pay to the Freshmart. From the point of Freshmart, they have to pay for the farmers group. Freshmart has to receive from the retailers. Are you able to understand? So from the Freshmart, if they want to pay, if they are paying to the farmers group, they have to pay to the farmers group because it is based on the credit transaction. They have purchased 10,000 of worth of fruits and vegetables. So farmers has to pay, Freshmart has to pay to farmers group. So in the books of Freshmart, the farmers group becomes the creditors to whom the business has to pay. The business has to pay to the outside person. To whom the business has to pay, they called as creditors. From whom the business has to receive. From whom the business has to receive. They are called as debtors. So in the books of Freshmart, farmer groups will be the creditors and retailers will be the debtors. Are you able to understand? Don't get confused. This is very, very, very important. Debtors and creditors, everywhere you are going to learn. Please keep this in meaning. Carefully think. Understand once again. Debtors and creditors. Debtors for whom the business has to receive the money. The business has to receive the money from them. Those we call it as debtors. Creditors to whom the business has to pay. To whom the business has to pay. Those people we call it as creditors. In case of creditors, the business already took the benefit but we didn't pay any cash. We didn't pay any amount. So yet we are liable to pay. Yet we are liable to pay. So such people we consider as to whom we have to pay. All those group people we call it as creditors. Are you able to understand? And now debtors from whom the business has to receive the money. The business is given the benefit for different people. Okay, so they have to receive now, not yet received. To whom and all you have given the benefit. The business is given the benefit to other people. those will become the debtors for the business. Later they will be paying to the business. Please understand this debtors and creditors. Don't get confused. Don't get confused. Please listen carefully. Suppose in some simple example I am telling you, I am giving certain benefit to my friend Mr. X. I have given 10,000 worth of money to Mr. X. Okay. So now I have given the benefit to him. That 10,000 later he has to give it to me only, right? So he is my debtor. The Mr. B will be he will come under the debtors. Okay. In my books of accounts, in my books, I will write Mr. X as a debtor to me. He has to pay some 10,000 to me. That is a simple example. Okay. Now for the creditors, if I want to sell, I have taken 10,000 from Mr. Z. Assuming I have taken 10,000 from Mr. Z. Now I am liable to pay. I have received some benefit but I didn't give back. So I have to pay 10,000 for Mr. Z. Is it right? So I will be paying in the latest rate. So which I have to pay, the Z is under the creditors. He comes under the creditors. To whom the business is liable to pay, those we call it as creditors. From whom the business is receiving the money, has to receive the money, those we call it as debtors. Please be clear with this. Understand debtors concept is very, very important. Debtors is very important. Later stages you will learn this. At the end of the chapters, you have all these debtors, so many transactions are there. These are the basic important terminologies that you have to learn. Nowhere you are going to learn. Only in the first PUC you will learn these terminologies. Okay. When you come to second PUC, directly to the problems, the bigger problems we will directly go. And when you go for degree colleges, nowhere they will explain these basic concepts. Nothing they are going to teach you. Directly to the problems, they will start up with the problems. You will not know who is creditor, who is debtor, what is a fixed asset, what is a current asset, what is liability, what is expenditure, what is expense. All this nobody is going to teach you. Only you will be learning in the first PUC. This is the basic strong foundation that you have to learn. The first 2 chapters is very, very important for you to learn the basic concepts of accounting. So please concentrate in all the terminologies. If you have any doubts, please let me know. I am also explaining in online classes, and also whatever the doubts you have, please post me in the group or in the comment section. I am already receiving some of the comments that I am trying to explain those girls. And whenever we have the interactive session, we will take the online interaction session and I will clear all your doubts. Okay. So, hope you are able to understand. Please study well and thorough with this first chapter. Very, very important. Okay. See you. Have a nice day. Take care.